Scorpio is, well, is the one of one.
And that's what the reset button means. Super Indy title to be at stake. Scorpio came here with no promises, no guarantees, not even a booking. He came hoping for an opportunity, hoping that randomizer would land on his name and he could get a chance worthy of that sacrifice. And I think that's happened in a big way. Scorpio is a four-time former ECW World Television Champion, a former ECW World Tag Champion with a fellow past selector of the reset button, the Sandman. He even held the Pro Wrestling Noah Tag Team Championships with Big Van Vader.
Yeah, Too Cold Scorpio, some may know him as a high flyer, but he can brawl. He can throw fists. There's no weakness to Scorpio's game.
Well, Scorpio spent a lot of time living over in Europe and also competing extensively for Pro Wrestling Noah, Global Honor Crown Tag Team Championship. So that allowed Scorpio to really refine and fill out his game in a lot of big ways. And Scorpio, you don't realize it till you're up close and personal with him. This certainly, when I first met him back in the day, you don't realize how big this guy is, because on television, he's often the smaller guy, but this guy's, 220, 230, 240 most of his career. And you got to believe he's somebody that Ganon Jones Jr. looked up to, being a very athletic big man. But Ganon is bigger. Is he more athletic? This match may answer that question.
What's going through the mind of Ganon Jones Jr. right now?
I mean, it's one of those things. You try to prepare for everybody, right? But do you think Ganon at any point thought this was a realistic possibility?
Well, there's only so much tape you can watch, only so much you can scout, and I'm sure Ganon Jones Jr. went through the IWC network. So might have seen a little bit of Too Cold.
Scorpio out of Kansas City. Maybe your boy Geigel did his travel, who knows? Right now it's Ganon Jones Jr. focusing on the wrist lock. Now if you're Ganon, do you want a more closed, tight-knit matchup? Ganon loves to use his athleticism, but Scorpio may be able to outdo Ganon in that category.
Well, it's what we said earlier. I don't know the advice that I would personally give to Ganon on this one. He knows the European catch style, does Too Cold Scorpio. He has no problem laying in those shots. He was in ECW, so you know he has no fear.
Without a doubt.
Too Cold Scorpio, very similar to Ganon Jones Jr., successful in tag team and singles competition.
And Scorpio, I want you to keep this statistic in mind through this matchup, is a 37-year ring veteran. And look at how he moves, and look at the intent he fights with. And notice that Ganon did not budge in that collision.
And Ganon's waiting for him to try it again.
Yeah, daring him. Ganon has marked his turf, his territory. Scorpio, if you're man enough, knock me out of it. And yeah, those competitive juices are flowing now. And Ganon comes back with a smirk as if to say, all right, I can play this game too. And Scorpio leaves his feet, takes Ganon down. And Ganon responds in kind, Scorpio down. So whether you know him as Too Cold Scorpio, as Flash Funk, by any name, Scorpio is dynamic, he is innovative, and he is as quick as anybody. But to that point, we discussed Ganon's strategy. We've only seen that from Scorpio in glimpses thus far. Great feeling out process in the early going.
That's true.
That's what's great about Reloaded. You're going to see matchups you didn't know you needed till you saw them both in the ring. This is one of them.
Well, look, I've made it known, I think, personally to people that Too Cold Scorpio, my favorite wrestler growing up. So personally a treat for me, but I was going to say the one thing that you have with Too Cold Scorpio is he'll play those mind games. He'll mess with you a little bit.
Yeah, he will. And Ganon showing some frustration. You want to test his strength or not? Is this wise for Scorpio to want, knowing Ganon has the height and thus the leverage?
Well, this is where almost a feeling out for Scorpio. He's going to have to see how does he measure up. I mean, let's face it, Scorpio can be a bad man when he wants to be. Those stories are legendary.
Oh, without question. I would not mess with Scorpio if you paid me every single dollar that is in circulation today. He's not just sizzle, he's got a lot of stake with it too, and he found a way to get the leverage. And Scorpio, Lucha style takeover, drop kick connects. Ganon Jones Jr.'s really deep arm drag by Scorpio, who I will restate, a 37-year ring veteran.
You know, another thing we really need to kind of throw out there at this point. What do you think Anthony Katina is thinking?
I hope Anthony Katina's knees are quivering, knowing that no matter who wins this matchup, he is in for a rough haul ahead.
I'm starting to get the feeling that you're not a big Anthony Katina fan.
Well, I can't be as big a fan of Anthony Katina as Anthony Katina is. I'll put it that way. Leapfrog. There's some agility by Scorpio, but Ganon looking to turn things around the Okada roll. And Ganon Jones Jr. caught Scorpio on the rebound into the cover here. 2, and a shoulder comes up. Scorpio had ducked out of the drop kick, but Ganon, as he came down, landed on the back of the head of Scorpio, almost a modified impromptu unplanned enziguri, and Ganon, smart move of a champion, capitalized immediately with a cover.
Well, that's that game we talk about, Ganon Jones Jr. I said earlier there's no weakness to Scorpio's game. There's really none to Ganon. He can almost control his body a la Too Cold Scorpio. Change direction, change trajectory in midair.
We saw Ganon fight the odds in December, Pittsburgh Pro Wrestling Classic, regaining the Super League title from Anthony Katina. Lumberjack rules, bodies everywhere. And Scorpio, when you're in the ring with him, it may feel like you're fighting 5 or 6 guys because of how many different directions he can come at you. That kick Ganon didn't see coming, nor did that one, I guarantee you. But that flexibility, that dexterity of Scorpio, it's just staggering. It's off-putting if you're in the ring with him.
And if you want educated feet, the term used in professional wrestling a lot, that is Too Cold Scorpio.
Yeah. And Ganon, though, showing you the power of the wind-up. Those clotheslines, and notice Ganon keeps the grip. He keeps the wrist control on Scorpio, so Scorpio has no choice but to roll with the momentum. 3 clotheslines, hook of the leg, and Too Cold gets the shoulder up.
And you heard those shots, too. Ganon's here to make a statement, not only to retain that championship, but, you know, you'd have to think that somewhere in the back of Ganon's mind, he's going to have to show Scorpio what it's like here in IWC. It's been quite a while. What it's like to compete for the Super Indie Championship.
Well, you made a great point that Scorpio hasn't been here in over a decade and a half, and this is TME territory. Let's be honest. They have done so much here. Suplex standard style, fisherman style by Ganon, bridging up 2.5. I mean, Scorpio's beloved by everybody who's ever seen him, but Ganon's got the home field advantage. And Ganon, being an athlete all his life, knows more than most how important that is in a sporting contest. And Scorpio's got to shake these cobwebs. Scorpio has faced some heavy hitters in his day. I don't know if he was ready for just how heavy Ganon Jones Jr. can hit.
Man, that reset button does something to a man. You know, you talked about that early feeling out process. Once you start to feel out your opponent, you can't overthink it too much. You don't have time to.
Scorpio comes in with a combo kick in the corner.
You won't be thinking much of anything when you take those kicks.
It's not think, it's how you react. Springs off Arabian press. Scorpio's got the title near fall.
We just said about the ease of body control with Too Cold Scorpio.
That finger gesture Scorpio gave to Ganon a couple of times earlier, I think he's giving it to Father Time right now, too. Scorpio front flip into a leg drop. 2,
arrogance on the part of Too Cold Scorpio. He might have thought that was it.
Scorpio's frustration showing with his reaction there. Scorpio, imagine how the Super Indy division changes. Scorpio will be back here maybe as soon as IWC 23 on March 30th if he wins this matchup. Both men exchange center ring. Boy, if there was any doubt, if you're the Plumbers of the world, the Katinas, if Ganon deserves to be Super Indy champion, we're erasing that doubt here. Scorpio, those first 2 shots were glancing blows. Ganon sidestepped. Third one caught Ganon flush, but Ganon back in with a sidewalk slam. Scorpio pinned, and not a lot of luster on that shoulder coming up, but enough to stop the count.
Yeah, those 2 counts are feeling a little bit longer and longer.
And Scorpio almost frantically swinging those kicks. Not a lot of strategy behind it. You got to wonder if there's some desperation, certainly some urgency in Scorpio. As Ganon goes high risk, but the moonsault comes up empty. Well, Scorpio's got an opportunity.
Well, this is where Scorpio lives.
Scorpio moonsault, caught it flush. New champion, no. And the look on Too Cold's face says it all.
Yeah, you just saw him looking around like, wait a minute now.
How can I beat this guy? Maybe the only operative answer is the move that's been Scorpio's bread and butter for the past 30-plus years. But to execute the 450 BC, Ganon's got to stay down in a prone position, and that's not in Ganon's makeup. Shot to the throat by Scorpio of questionable legality. I think frustration setting in on Too Cold. The thrust kick, Ganon looking to battle back. Hits the double arm DDT. Elks the leg. Ganon Jones Jr. fights away.